Welcome to Straightway Through with Gina, the podcast where we say it straight, say it true, say it kind to the best of our ability every time, which, yes, means imperfectly. None of us are perfect, so let's not even try to be. We're here today to help you communicate better. Where's a relationship in your life where you would love to see that communication bring you connection, bring you closeness, bring you understanding, bring you insight? Let's see how we can uncover that for you today. I have a special guest, Ross Gigi, here, and he is going to introduce himself and then we'll get into the topic. So, Ross, tell us, who are you? What brings you here?
Well, Gina, thanks for having me. I'm Ross. I work as a carpenter these days. I studied art, and that's where I come into this from. It's my practical sculpture, I suppose you'd call it. I'm kind of a jack of all trades. I do music and just I won't say I'm a man of many talents, but I am a man of many interests.
Wow, I love that. I love that you're a carpenter. I often say if I could go back and do my life over again, there's a lot of different trades. If I had 5 lives, if I could do it 5 different times, carpenter is so one that I would choose because I think it is such an amazing thing to be able to build things with your hands and then see that finished product. Were you always like that with your hands? I mean, did you always like to build things, or is this something that you found later in your life?
No, always. I can't remember a time before. In my family, people do things with their hands, so it was very natural.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love that. What's something you've built recently that was fun?
I A project that I was fond of was a couple of projects ago. I put up a timber frame shed for
Hmm.
a client.
For a what?
Um, for
Oh,
a
for a
client,
client? Uh-huh.
so they could go up the steps without getting snowed on.
Aw,
but
that's
it
so
but it
nice.
but I really like timber framing, just the traditional joinery, and it's something that lasts for a very long time,
Mm,
hundreds of years. Um,
wow.
it it gives me a sense of practicing a craft, a skill that's not fast, but that feels to me like quality.
Mm. That sounds a lot like communication.
Yeah, yeah. There was a lot of communication involved in this. uh,
Yeah, I love that. Something that you have to have patience in order to move through it. It's something that doesn't just go up quick. It's something that really takes time and care and, like you said, quality. And then you have it for hundreds of years. Right? That's like both the shed and communication. And we are here to talk about communication, not sheds, although that's a fascinating topic. Well, the topic today, Ross, that you chose, which I think is amazing, is why do we sometimes hate to communicate? Tell me what led you to that thought. Right? Because I asked you, I said, hey, what kind of topics do you love? Do you hate, or would you just like to talk about on the podcast? And you gave me a few and they were all really good. The one that sparked in my mind though was when you said, why do we sometimes hate to communicate? Because I think that's something that really touches us all. We all feel that. Sometimes we avoid, sometimes we just would rather close our eyes and go to sleep, but there's a reward to communicating. And I think that's why we're here to talk about the thing that we sometimes hate. But I'm curious, in your mind, what led you to that place?
well, I sometimes have, and recently I have had difficulty communicating with clients about my needs,
Mm,
which involves money, and it gives me hives.
that's so interesting. Yeah.
I, I wish I was wealthy just so I could work for free.
Now, do you literally get hives, or is that
No, I
metaphorical
don't
hives?
literally get,
Okay.
but I do get a dry mouth, and
Uh-huh.
probably red in the face.
Mm.
It's,
Isn't that so interesting? I love this because so many people who are in business for themselves or have to actually set a price. Meaning, if you're with a company, think about it like this. If you're with a company and the company sends you out to do these projects and you know what the fee is, you don't have a problem saying it because it's not
Hmm.
you on the line there, right? It's just like, oh, the company has set this as the price.
Hmm.
Right. When
Hmm.
I
Yeah.
used to teach environmental programs, I used to get called into schools a lot. This was when I worked for an environmental center. I would get called into schools, and the fee was really high for a 45-minute program. I had no problem saying what it was, but it's me now. I've set up the business and someone calls me and I've got to state that fee. It's like, oh no, now they're going to say, hey, are you really worth that? But
Hmm.
yet, and that's the interesting thing. When you work for someone else, you don't have those fears. When you work for yourself, all of a sudden those things come up. So I love that you brought that up, and I hope that through our conversation today, you find a really amazing strategy to help you in the future with this. But we got to get more into the bad stuff. We got to go into the problem first before we start talking about what the way out. So, where do you think this comes from? What's your best guess?
I've often wondered because there's not something from my childhood, or maybe it's because there never was a lack growing up. I don't know. I very very middle class parents. They're both trained as teachers.
Mm,
Kind of right down the middle. Economically, there's absolutely nothing that should make me more insecure than anyone else
mm,
about asking for money. Um,
mhm.
so yeah, yeah, my short answer is I really have no idea what makes me this way.
Let's see if we can find it. Let's see. Let's see.
Okay, okay.
All right. Have you always been in business for yourself or did you work for others for a period?
No, no, this I worked in libraries for years, um,
Hmm.
which is not a very lucrative place to be, but I always got a sense of worth from helping people with all kinds of things. Um,
Mm,
I,
yeah.
I, I, you'd be amazed at the things people will go into a library seeking assistance
Hmm.
with. A lot of it's just listening.
Mm.
So many people are older and lonely and just need somebody to talk to.
Aw.
And whatever it is, I like feeling useful
Mhm.
and like I'm providing something.
Mm. Let me ask you this. What if working for the library was one of the top rated jobs in terms of pay? I know it's not, but let's just say working for a library, you made $1 million a year. If,
Okay.
would I want you to just imagine that? Would that have changed your perspective of the job?
Probably not.
Hmm.
Not a lot. I mean, it would have changed the number of things in my life, but it wouldn't change how I viewed it particularly because unless I had to negotiate for this, and there was,
Hmm.
and of course there would probably be more competition, which would change how I view things.
Hmm. Hmm. I wonder though if, and it's okay if it wouldn't, but I wonder if getting paid $1 million to do that would create some questions. It's kind of like this. Let me explain it like this. There's some fields, like maybe working at the library or maybe working, not to say teachers don't make good money. There are plenty of teachers who make good money, but meaning they don't, there's a cap. They don't make $1 million every year, right? So they're
No, they
not
don't.
they're not high paid jobs, right? In our
Mm-hmm.
society. I do believe that if they were high paid jobs in our society, people would have a harder time in them because it's almost like, oh, how do I say this? How do I say this? I got to get the thought in my mind out into words.
Mm-hmm.
when we do something that we don't get paid a lot for, we have a real personal integrity around that. It's almost like I do this because I love it. I do it because I have a passion for it. I do it because it
Hmm.
means something to me. I do it because I can reach people. I do it because uh I'm well suited for it, whatever it is. But we kind of take on an identity which is a public service. It's a public service. I'm
Sure.
doing this because I have an identity of doing good things for people, and it's not about the pay. The pay is just this byproduct. Does that make
Well,
sense right there?
it does, and I'd take it even a step further that
Mm-hmm.
that low pay is a sacrifice that we can then use as evidence to support
Exactly.
some claim that might not even be vocalized.
Exactly, exactly, exactly. And that's why I'm saying, would you be different? Would it feel different if the pay was $1
Hmm.
million for working in the library? You see, like where that question comes from now?
I do.
You
I
would
do.
no
Yeah.
longer be able to have that identity of like, I do
Hmm.
good things for good people and it's not for the pay.
That's true. Yeah, that's absolutely true. I don't know if I would. Maybe I would have to give it away. I don't know. uh,
Yeah, I think it would cause conflict for a lot of people. And it's not, see, these things are buried, right? It's so amazing that as humans we have the surface stuff that we live from, but we often don't tap into the underlying stuff, especially when it's around identity. And it's not that you would be a it's not that you would be a bad person if you took $1 million to work at the library.
no,
It's
no.
not at all. It's just that a lot of us have adopted, not consciously, but unconsciously, this hey, in order for me to be a really good person, it means I have to do things and I have to sacrifice and I have to not get paid well for it. And I have to be the one who will show up and do the work, even when no one else will, for a low salary.
Hmm.
Right. And
Hmm.
that really becomes an identity that if somebody said, well, you know what? Forget your X amount of dollars every year. I'm going to pay you $3 million a year for this. It would be so hard for you to maintain that self identity that you would start to all of a sudden be fearful going into work. Or, you know what I mean? And you might not necessarily, first, you might be like, well, great, I'm going to make $3 million a year. But then you're going to start to notice all this stuff comes up. I'm afraid to do this. I'm nervous. I'm going to do something wrong. Whatever it is, all that stuff is going to come up because your self identity is under threat. It's under attack. And when that's not conscious, you can't address it. You can only address it once you know it's conscious, once it's conscious.
Hmm. At this point in my life, I think I'd be able to navigate that. But
You would be willing to go for that. Okay, and so let's apply that to the construction thing.
hmm.
Okay, so now you love building things with your hands.
I
It's
do.
rewarding work. It's
I
also a
do.
great public service.
It is. People always need things built, fixed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And if you were getting paid a lot more money to do it, I know your first instinct is going to say you're going to say yes, but but would you feel that you were would it hurt your identity, the false identity? It's not a real identity, but would it somehow hurt that, or would it seem like it's making it less valuable if you were getting paid more?
No, because I would be able to hire services myself and be able to offer a better service. So I think it would be a net positive for me as well in my identity.
Okay, you're answering very logically here, Ross. You're giving me very logical answers. Okay, and so do you I know you're super smart. What happens when you go only to logic and not include the emotional part of life? Meaning like you know how in life we have the logical part, and you can ask somebody a question and they can answer from that intellectual logical place, and you can be like, yeah, okay. But then there's this whole other side to us that isn't logical. And
Hmm.
so that's the side I'm speaking to here. Like when I say, would it change something if what if that guy said, you know what, I'm going to pay you $1 million for that shed? Would you then start to, like, the emotional part of you, the part of you that has your identity steeped in, I do good work and it's not about the pay. I do a good public service and it's not about the pay. Yes, the money is something that we have to discuss because I need to buy food to live and I need to pay my bills.
Hmm.
But
Yeah.
I do it because I love it. So if you were getting paid $1 million, would that emotional part of you feel in conflict with that?
No, and the great thing about doing something every day is it's a great way to love it less and be more logical
Mm,
about
mm-hmm,
it's not about my feelings of like doing this, learning things from my childhood on and being able to build on them. It's no longer about like some sense of nostalgia. I mean, getting up in the morning and going to work has a way to take that shine off of a thing,
mm-hmm.
after enough repetitions.
Definitely. It's like, oh, I love to cook. I would love to cook for a living. And then you start cooking and
Hmm.
you're like,
Yeah,
wait,
right.
what? This isn't what I thought it was going to be.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then
Go ahead.
then when you catch a glimpse of the original feeling that drove this decision,
Mm-hmm.
it's a rare and beautiful thing, which does still exist, I think. But
Mm-hmm.
I don't think anyone's just living in bliss 24 hours a day, every
Mm-hmm.
day of the week because of the right decision.
Mm-hmm. No, it's not possible.
Yeah,
Right. Where we experience a full range. It would be impossible to
definitely.
experience one emotion. I mean, it would be
Yeah,
boring to
definitely.
experience one emotion.
Yeah, yeah. We get so tired. Just blissed out would have a different meaning.
We
Like,
might not be able to get to sleep,
yeah, yeah,
right?
that's true. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You wouldn't be able to sleep if you're feeling bliss. Yeah,
That's right. You got to come down from that to get to sleep.
yeah, yeah. That's right. That's
Okay,
right.
so let's keep looking around for the points in this communication that's really hard. So let me ask you this: when you have a conversation with a client, let's say a client calls you today and they say, "Hey, I'd really love for you to build me, like, what's something that they might want you to build?" Just
Hmm. A custom cabinet.
okay, a custom cabinet. And I've been wanting this done for a long time, and I'm finally ready to go for it. Okay, now you go, you look at the job, it looks like it's going to be, what it's going to cost. Is once you decide on the cost, is it at that point that it becomes hard for you to share it, or like, how do I negotiate this, or is it even before you decide the cost?
Well, this is something I've had so much trouble around this that I've been against all better advice charging by the hour
Hmm. Mm-hmm.
because it seems self-explanatory when we
Mm,
just charge for our time. And it's not something that anyone would tell
mm-hmm.
me is good advice.
Mm, mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay, because you could have two carpenters that do completely different work and they could both charge the same price for the hour,
Hmm.
right?
Yep,
One
sure.
person could get a fabulous cabinet, another person could get a cabinet that breaks in 2 weeks, and they could have both charged the same hourly rate.
Hmm. Hmm.
So
Yeah,
yeah, go ahead.
but also just buying anything off the shelf could be the same too. There's always an element of quality that has to be verified in some
Mm-hmm,
way.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So what if you're not charging by the hour, what would you charge by? Like, what are some other options?
Well, I would simply offer a price at the outset,
Mm-hmm.
like you had been saying, just set a price and
Based
deliver
on
the
what?
ultimately based on an agreement between myself and my client.
But I mean, like in your mind, how would you set the price? Like if it's not by hourly, would it be based on the job? Would it be based on your experience? Would it be based on your thought process? Would it be based on the value that it's going to bring to the client?
Well, it's hard for a thing to have intrinsic value. I mean, really like even the value of a house, it keeps the rain off you, it keeps you from freezing to death. But most of the value is not intrinsic. I mean, because you could live in a hole that's thatched and it would allow you to survive, or in a cave, or actually a cave would make a great house. But so
As long
much
as you
of
like spiders. As long
yeah,
as you like spiders, right?
which I do. I do. I like
Okay,
spiders. But so much of the value is really in aesthetics. You know, it's in the eye of the beholder. It's the beauty of a thing, and it's not because of its intrinsic value. It's because of what we say it is.
Okay, so what if yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
So setting the price of a piece is just what somebody would be willing to pay.
Okay, let's say I called you today and I said, "Hey, I've been wanting this cabinet. I've had the layout in my mind. I know it would make my life so much easier. I'm in the kitchen all the time cooking. I want the cabinet to look like this. I want it to function like this. It's really going to change my life and how I live in my kitchen every day." Okay. And so you would say, okay, this is something that is really important to her. And you might say, I can make you something that completely matches the design that you have in your head. You know, you sit down, she tells you, I tell you what I want it to look like and how I want it to function. And we draw it out and we both agree, yeah, that's the one. And then you say, okay, if you're not charging hourly and you're going to charge me a fee, you know how much I want this cabinet. And you know I want it to be top quality. I say, don't skimp on materials. Give me eco-friendly glue. I mean, I don't know if you use glue, but you know what I mean? Like I say, I really want it to be something that I want sustainable trees to be part of this. I want the whatever, all these things, right? That I say, I want it to really be something that serves me well. It's high quality, and I have done my best to take care of the earth. You know, we didn't just clear cut a forest for this wood, but it was sustainably grown. Whatever. I'm showing you that like I'm someone who wants something high quality. Okay, and then you determine the price. And so, what are you going to say to me?
See, well, I have no idea. That's why I don't do this.
Okay, where does the trouble come up? In the communication, like let's really think about it's the communication, right? Where does the trouble come up in the communication of it? Do you feel that I have not yet communicated what I want and where I want to go with it?
No, you were very clear.
Okay. So you feel like the communication is clear on my side. So where does the communication now break down with the fee and the charging and what your next step is with having that communication?
I lack a sense of as I'm sitting here listening to you. I'm thinking there really is no way for a thing that I charge for to be separated from the time it takes. Like that is always a real element.
It's one model. It's one model. I mean, there is a way to separate it. Charging by the hour, charging by the time is one model, and you can use that model if you want to. Now, you could set whatever fee you want. If you want to use that model, right? You could say, well, my fee is $10 an hour or my fee is $2,000 an hour. I mean, you set the fee. Now, you might go, oh, well, somebody's going to say, I'm not going to pay you $2,000 an hour, but they might, if they've seen what you can do and they've seen what other people do and they know what they want and they know that $2,000 will give them peace of mind, meaning like they won't have to repair this in a year. They won't have, and you say, along with this $2,000, if anything happens in the next 5 years, I come back and do a free fix. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what the carpenter policies are, but meaning like you get to set the price if you want to go with that model. So let's see, is there anything comfortable or uncomfortable that comes up in terms of where you would set the hourly rate?
I don't feel anything uncomfortable.
So could you set it for $2,000 an hour?
No, you're right. It does feel a little uncomfortable.
Okay. All right. All right. So, because if not, I was going to say, well, then make sure when your next client calls, you give that a try and see how comfortable it feels. Okay. So it would feel a little bit uncomfortable. Okay. What makes it uncomfortable?
Well, just what they're going to have. I mean, I suppose if my client was Jeff Bezos, like I could charge $2,000 an hour with a straight face, and I would have no problem with it. But if it's anyone that I actually know, the people that I know, they would all be in the poorhouse. I mean, if they're paying me $50 an hour, all these things take a lot of time.
What if I don't know, do you use Android or Apple for your phone?
Android.
Okay. I don't know what Androids cost, but I know I use iPhones. I know Apple's cost, let's just say $1,000 for a phone. I don't know, $800, $1,000, whatever it is.
Sure.
Do you think Apple is saying that they don't want to set that price as it is because it'll make people go into the poorhouse?
I'm sure they're not.
They're not, right?
They're not.
And let me ask you this. How many people do you know that will do whatever it takes to get a phone?
To get a phone?
Well, to get an $800 phone or to get $1,000 phone, right? You might know somebody who has no money for a new car, but they'll maybe they can't come up with $1,000 for a down payment of a car, but they can come up with $1,000 to get a phone.
Yeah, it's true.
Right?
It's true. Yeah.
I mean, like they just say like, oh, I'm going to get that phone. I'm going to find a way to get it. And let me say, and let me ask another question. How many of those people who found $1,000 to get the iPhone do you think that put them in the poorhouse?
Well, I suppose probably none of them. I mean, they were either for $1,000 they were either already there or it's not going to put them there.
Yeah. Or they just found another way to, I mean, people make money for what they want. And it always comes down to this, like, how much do you want something? It's not just how much do you want it, but let's just say I'm in the market right now for a new car. Okay. I'm in the market for a new car and I go out car shopping and I test drive 5 different cars and they're all $50,000. Okay. And I'm like, oh, I don't know. $50,000 is so much money. Like I cannot afford $50,000 for a new car. It's outrageous. Okay. And then I go to the 6th dealer and I see the car that lights me up. I'm like, wow, I could travel the country in that car. I see myself travel. I see myself going all kinds. That is going to enrich my life so much. $50,000, it's yours. No longer does $50,000 seem like too much. It seemed like too much when I was looking at mediocre cars that didn't really speak to me. It's like when people have the thing in front of them, like the thing they really want, that's when they don't say that's too much. So yeah, there are a lot of things that are too much, but they're too much because you don't want them.
Mm-hmm.
Right? It's
Yeah,
like
that's right. That's right.
it's not too much if I want it. If I really want that car, I'm going to be like, "Oh, I'm going to find a way to have that to make that $50,000."
That's true.
Right?
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
I wanted a really nice camera lens, like a really nice expensive camera lens. I'm like, I want that. There's nothing stopping me from getting that lens. I am making that money. I
Mm-hmm.
made the money and I got the lens. It didn't put me in the poorhouse.
And your pictures are beautiful, by the way. I
Thank you.
point that out.
That's so nice. Thank you. So you see what I'm saying? Like we can't just say people will pay $50,000 car or they won't pay $50,000 for a car. It's they'll pay $50,000 easily for the car that lights them up. They will not pay $50,000 and they'll say it's too expensive for the cars that don't light them up.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just
Is it?
interesting, right? I mean to me this kind
Yeah.
of stuff is really interesting.
Yeah. Is it the car or the feeling? It's right.
Yeah,
It's the feeling you get from the thing. It's
exactly.
$50,000 for a really great feeling.
And here's what I would say too. Let's just imagine I was a carpenter for a day and somebody called me to do a job. They called me for the cabinet job. Okay. And I said, okay, let's talk about this dream cabinet of yours. Like I'm going to come over, we're going to sit down, we're going to draw it out, you're going to tell me everything you want. I'm going to make sure I understand, and then I'm going to give you a price.
Mm-hmm.
Let's just say that all happened and I said, okay, it's $1 million for that cabinet. And I'm using big numbers to be extreme
Uh-huh.
here. Okay.
Sure.
Like,
Sure. Sure.
right.
Sure.
Okay. So I said, okay, it's $1 million for that cabinet. And they said, $1 million? There's no way I'm paying $1 million for that cabinet. And I would say, well, then you haven't designed the cabinet that really appeals to you yet. Let's go back to the drawing board.
Uh-huh.
Right. And like, you see how that totally reframes the whole thing. So this idea that we're going to put people in the poorhouse if we charge a rate that feels like it lights us up as much as it lights them up,
Mm-hmm.
then we're missing that piece of it. We're missing that piece, and then we're just trading time and money.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right? And so it's like the same thing, like what kind of pay would you have to get to still be lit up with doing this work? You know how you said when you do it every day, you get like all the, oh no, there's this, like the thing you love in the beginning, now you do it for a job and all of a sudden there all these things come up that you don't love. Like
Mm-hmm.
what would you have to get paid in order to love all those things?
I don't think there is an amount. I would eventually take the pay for granted.
Really? I think there is. I think there is an amount. I think if you were making so much money that you could only take the jobs that totally lit you up, like I mean, even more so than they do now. And like you said before, you had someone else, you even had someone else to negotiate you had someone else to negotiate the pay, or you had somebody else to do the things that you don't like to do. Like it would change your whole work relationship with these clients and this job.
That's true. Yeah. If I had an office with workers to do the office work, the accounting, the tax preparation, all that. Yeah, I
Right?
would. Yeah.
See?
Right from that point, I would. Yes, that would change everything.
Yeah.
Even if I didn't have people to haul the lumber and do these things, if I just had.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No. No. You're right.
It's interesting, Ross, because there's been several times where I do not mind being wrong. I love being wrong. I'm happy to be wrong. I love pushback when I'm wrong. I don't mind being wrong at all. There's a couple of times I've asked you a question now. I have felt that the answer would be a clear yes, and you said a clear no. And then through a little bit more of explaining, then you go to a yes. Is it because am I twisting your arm, or are you really seeing what's underneath the surface level? No.
Oh, I am. Yeah. Yeah. Especially we're talking about money, and I'm like, I avoid even thinking about these things.
Mm,
It, yeah.
they're so
To
uncomfortable.
some
Yeah.
degree, to some degree,
Yeah.
I think about things surface level, but
Hmm.
to but to dwell on something for, for a half an hour or more, it's unlike me to think about these things.
Hmm.
It's
And there,
it's more like a fleeting thought here and there.
that's interesting. And there are pros and cons to that, right? The pros are that it's great. You're not spending your time overthinking things. You're just moving on to the next thing.
I have other things I can overthink.
You have other things you overthink. Okay. But in this instance, you're not wasting time overthinking. But the con is that you lose this kind of dialogue that could actually help inform your business decisions and help your business change a bit in a really positive way.
Mm-hmm.
For both you and the client. Like, if we say today that charging your clients more money, like, we're assuming that's better for them too. Remember, that person that buys that $50,000 car that totally lights them up, that's a good thing that they're coming up with that money, putting that money down, paying that money for it. It has value beyond the dollar amounts. The fact that they
Mm-hmm.
had to raise that money and hand over that chunk of money, like, it means something more than just the money. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
I will find a way to pay for what I want. If I really want to go to, I'm not a traveler, but let's just say I really wanted to go to, I don't know,
No.
another country. No, I'm not. I like inner travel. I'm not so much. I love outer travel in New Jersey. I
Okay.
love traveling. I love going to the beach or going to the mountains, or, I love traveling around to explore what's right around me, but I have no interest in traveling at this time. And I haven't for probably ever. But I was just thinking yesterday, I was going to do a upcoming live somewhere about that, because I do think that people tend, this is a totally different topic, but this is just a quick side note. People
Mm-hmm.
tend to either put a lot of weight on outer travel, like they're travelers and they want to see the world, or they put a lot of weight on inner traveler, like me. I'm an inner traveler. I don't need to go anywhere in the world. I have miles and miles and miles and miles of endless travel inside that help me get to know me more. So I think a lot of people tend to go black and white. They either like the outer travel or the inner travel, but, like, what's the balance? How do you get to that place where you travel outside and you travel inside? Because a lot of the people that like the outer travel, they don't travel inside. They just see outward and the eyes take them out. And then the people who like inward travel, they're kind of disconnected from what the eyes see. They're not led by what the eyes see. They turn the eyes inward and look inside. And so those two, they're both on the outsides of the pendulum, right? What's at the center? How do you get into both that outer travel and the inner travel so that you're not neglecting one over the other? But that's a side thing. Okay, so I don't even know, where was I going with that. Let's see if I can get back there. Let's say somebody really wants to travel. Let's say I'm a person who really wants to travel and I want to go to Mexico. I'm just picking a place. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to find money to get myself to Mexico. If
Mm-hmm.
I don't like travel and somebody says, "Hey, do you want to go to Mexico tomorrow?" I'm going to say, "No, I don't have the money for that. I don't have the money for that because I don't want to go."
It's not a
If I was like,
priority.
"Yes, I've always wanted to go to Mexico," I would never say I don't have the money for that. I would find the money for that.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So how
Yeah.
is this? How is this altering, adjusting things in your mind? Are you thinking any differently about business? I'm not saying you're ready to go charge $1 million an hour, but what is it doing in terms of the business?
Well, I am open to this idea that I'm providing something that is a better service by charging more.
Mm-hmm.
Um, however, I mean, I like my regular clients. I trust them.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have to litigate,
Mm-hmm.
which is really important. I don't even have to draw up contracts
Mm-hmm.
because I'm working for people that I know and I trust.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and that also limits. Uh, I I live among frugal people. I come from frugal people. This
Mm-hmm.
is rural Pennsylvania. Um, not that there aren't, wealthy people, but it I would be stepping into the unknown, working for people that I don't know and
Mm-hmm.
don't necessarily. I mean, I'm a very trusting person, but at the same time,
Mm-hmm.
I should be skeptical of my nature to trust everyone.
Mm.
I trust them, but I don't trust myself trusting them.
That's funny. Yeah, it's funny you said I should be skeptical of my trusting nature. That's so funny. Because I mean, how does a trusting person be skeptical?
Through hard experience. That's
Yeah, life teaches us. Life teaches us what we need to
yeah.
know, what we need to know. And so I guess you're saying that life has taught you that it's not always wise to be trusting, right?
It has, yeah.
Okay.
But
And yeah, go ahead.
no,
Okay.
yeah, yeah.
Well, no, if
Um,
you have another thought, go for it.
no, I'm replaying some things in my mind, but they're just these are just life clips and not really. We've already generalized from it, so yeah.
But they're still important if there's one that's sticking out that you think is relevant to share.
There was this one time I got chased in the Netherlands by somebody
Hmm.
that I was just hanging out with, even though he'd thrown up. Probably he'd given like 100 red flags for why I shouldn't trust
Mm,
this individual.
interesting.
Yeah,
Huh.
but
And so he gave a million red flags, and what did you do with those flags? Did you reason? Did you rationalize? Did you ignore? What did you do with them?
yeah, I rationalized them all right away.
Mm, mhm, mhm. Yeah. And then life said,
Run,
"Run."
literally.
Literally.
Luckily,
Wow.
I was in my early 20s. So
So you ran fast
yeah.
and you got away. You got to safety. Okay, interesting. So you have a very trusting nature and you like to work with people that you know and you like to give them good deals and you okay, and I have a feeling your first response is going to be it doesn't, okay? So I'm saying that I'm getting that out now to see if we can just sidestep, like let's see what comes out next. Let's see what the second response is. Uh, how is charging little hurting you?
Causes me to work harder.
Mhm.
It causes me to not provide things that I feel I should be able to provide,
Mm.
whether that's realistic or whether that's even whether I'm actually hurting anyone. Because I mean, my bills are all paid, and I have I own a house and a car, and the
Mhm.
basic necessities.
Mhm.
Um, but at the same time, we always want to provide more for the people around us, people that just family and so forth.
Mhm. Right. Exactly. Yeah, and let's just say that you were able to make more. And I'm not saying that you have to, right? I'm not pushing you in any direction. I hope that's clear. We're just kind of we're talking about
Sure.
how to really look at this. We're talking about inner communication and we're talking about outer communication with your clients, but then also the inner communication, which is the process of understanding what your current fees are making space for and what they're not making space for. So it's like you
Hmm.
just said, like we always like to provide more for a family. So like what's something that if let's just say if every job you had done so far paid you double what it paid, what would you be doing for your family, for example, that you're not doing now? Like, would you book a vacation? Would you, you know what I'm saying? Like, what would you do with that money?
I would pay for education outright and not
Hmm.
require loans and things.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That would be fun.
Yeah. Yeah, and also I would take my children on vacation.
Oh, that would be fun. Where would you go?
Where would we go? Maybe California. I haven't been there.
Oh, okay. That's nice.
Well, to drive across the country and see the landscape change. I always
Yeah.
wanted I've always wanted to do that. And
Hmm. Yeah, that would be great. In that the car that lights you up, or the van, or the RV, or whatever it is.
yeah. maybe
Well,
maybe I'd hire a painter. Ain't the one I have. I
right.
don't think there's any car that's gonna light me up. They all just have four wheels, and you put the key in. If it takes you where you were intending to go, that's
Mm,
great.
really? I've always thought it would be so fun to have an RV.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. See, I think I know, and then yeah, yeah, or a van that
Yeah,
I can trips. Yeah.
right. Yeah. I think it sounds like you've gotten used to staying where you're comfortable. Like all of us. You know what I mean?
Staying in
Like
my
it's
lane.
it's
Yeah.
it's just the human pattern, right? We get where we're comfortable, and then we're just like, "No, I wouldn't need anything outside of where I'm comfortable." But there's a whole bunch of possibilities and fun things and meaningful things and valuable things and lessons and more to life than what we're comfortable with,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah. It's true. It's true.
Yeah.
And there's so much more we could get comfortable with.
Exactly. Like communicating
but
our price.
but I often wonder, at what point do you? I think you know, if you have nothing, of course, then you have your needs met. Well, you are happier. You do feel more fulfilled.
Mhm.
Uh, you have time to do inner travel, as you say. You just have more time, more resources, more choices. But I think there's a turnover pretty quickly whereby having more is really more to think about that you didn't have to before,
Mhm.
or where there's a crossover that it in some ways happier, more fulfilled, feel better. Other ways, no, and it kind of averages out to be about the same, even though things look a lot different on the surface.
Mhm. Mhm.
And yeah, I wonder where that is.
Yeah, I have very, very specific understandings through experience of that. And what I would say is what I do say, what I'm here to say is fulfillment doesn't come from anything. So more doesn't give you fulfillment, less doesn't give you fulfillment. Fulfillment comes from fulfillment. And
Okay.
and and so meaning like if I think that having more or being more or charging less or having less or being less is going to get me fulfillment, both of those cannot get me, neither one can get me fulfillment. Nothing from, in my experience, okay, and I've had a lot of experiences, meaning both seeking this and not seeking it. You don't get fulfillment from things. You don't get happiness from things. You don't get fulfillment from things. You don't get satisfaction from things. You get satisfaction from training yourself to feel satisfied regardless of what's going on around you. You get fulfillment from training yourself to be fulfilled regardless of what's going on around you. And I mean, for me, this is a big God piece. I know I'm not everybody is a God person, but through my relationship with God, like I've learned all of these things. So I know that whether I'm making $1 million a year or whether I'm making 1 penny a year, fulfillment and satisfaction and happiness and all of those things have nothing to do with either one of those pay rates. Nothing. And so
Mm-hmm.
anytime I attach one of those things to either $1 million or the 1 penny, I'm off the mark.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So it's like, so the truth is it's not about, like you said, it's not about getting more doesn't necessarily mean you're going to be fulfilled. Getting more doesn't mean you're going to be more satisfied. Charging more and getting more doesn't mean you're going to have a better life. You can have a better life now or then. Like that's all separate. It's like the pay is the pay and the other stuff is the other stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I know we like to connect the two. I know we like to say like, oh, like I could have a better life if I'm making more money. Like my mind still says those things. It's not like we get to the point where our mind doesn't try to stop. It doesn't stop feeding us what I see as lies, right? The mind is always thinking the grass is greener on the other side, right? That's just what the mind does. Oh, my life is going to be better if I can make twice as much as I'm making now. My
Mm-hmm.
life is going to be, I'm going to be more fulfilled and more satisfied if I could, make this much money. No, that's not true. You're not going to be more or less satisfied with that much money. You're just going to have that much more money.
But does does you're talking about like inner development, right? So like this process of development that we have to go through in order to be more fulfilled. Fulfillment comes from fulfillment, right?
Mm-hmm.
But there's a process,
Mm-hmm.
and it takes time,
Mm-hmm.
right? So what so if we're
What gets you
completely,
there?
yeah,
Yeah.
what gets you there? What what pays for this time?
Yeah, and it's interesting because that ties into what you said before, which was that that I don't remember your exact words. I'm paraphrasing here, but you said something along the lines of if you should be, have the resources or the time or the luxury to have those inner travels. I don't see inner travels as a luxury. I see inner travels as a necessity. And I'm not saying a necessity for everyone because some people can function fine in life without going inward. For me, I do not function fine unless I go inward. So for me, the inner travels aren't like this thing where it's like, okay, I'm paid well, everything is taken care of, I'm satisfied, I'm fulfilled, and now I'm just going to explore the inner world because I have the time and the energy to do it. For me, inner exploration is an absolute necessary. It's like I can't even, it's survival for me. For me, it's like it's in that kind of a place. It's survival. So in order to function well, I have to have those inner travels. And that's why I do that. And I do think what you're saying is true in that it's like, okay, well, if money doesn't get you fulfillment and if all these external things don't get you fulfillment, but yet you don't have it now, like something's got to get you there. So what's that thing that gets you there? What is that vehicle? Is that the right question? Is that what you're asking?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And do you want to share any thoughts first before I share?
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay. So, what gets you there, and you said it takes time. It takes time or it doesn't. Meaning, like, how I was saying before, we have these intellectual understandings and we have these emotional or experiential understandings. Meaning, like, your mind can get something and it can take your mind time to get somewhere. But, like, think about it like this. If I said to you, you've never had an apple before and I'm going to explain to you what an apple tastes like, right? I give you all the understanding of what an apple can taste like. It can take, like, let's say 3 hours. You're like, nope, I still don't get it. I still don't get what it tastes like. And I'm like, okay, let me try again. And we go through this for 3 hours. And then let's say at the end of 3 hours you're like, okay, I think I know what an apple tastes like. That's a whole intellectual process. It took 3 hours and it got you to a place where you think you know what it tastes like. You still don't
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
really know what it tastes like, but you think you do.
All right. Yeah.
Then you say, hey, I want to know what an apple tastes like. I never had it. And I said, here you go, bite the apple. And you bite the apple and you taste it and you're like, got it.
Then-
That's it. It's over. Right. So So when you say it takes time, like, or it's like this vehicle that has to take us to this place where we get fulfillment. Yes and no. Like, yes, if you want to figure that out intellectually and understand it logically and have a point A to point B, and you want to go through that whole experience. And even when you get to the end of it, even if you say, okay, I think I now know what fulfillment is, you're still not in fulfillment. It's still an intellectual process, and the intellect cannot know fulfillment. The intellect it will never know fulfillment. It will never know fulfillment. But your body can have an experience. You as a person, the all of you, which is more than just your intellect, can know what it is like to feel fulfillment and to create that fulfillment, not based on anything external. And so that doesn't take time. That takes no time. That's like biting into that piece of fruit and going, yep, I know what this piece of fruit tastes like.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So, like, when you have that kind of experience of like, hey, it's almost like this. And you could say, okay, well, how would you get that experience? Right. If you don't have an apple to give someone, or you don't have a banana to give someone, or you don't have a mango to give someone, you don't have fulfillment to give to someone, how can they get that experience without trying to figure it out intellectually? And that comes from understanding that your feelings come from your thoughts. If you're not feeling fulfilled right now, the only place you can trace that back to is your thinking. Meaning, you could trace it back to a lot of places, but the only one that's true, the only one that's going to give you real inside information is tracing it back to your thoughts. And it's not always easy to find those thoughts because we don't always operate in a place that goes beneath the surface thought. That's why
Mm-hmm.
conversations like this help us to go, right? Think about it. We've talked about a lot of things here that you probably wouldn't have been in dialogue with yourself about, or I wouldn't have been in dialogue with myself about because we didn't have the other to go back and forth, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Right. So,
Yeah.
like, all we've done is we've gone deeper into the initial thoughts that we would have stopped ourselves at if we were in a monologue with ourselves instead of a dialogue with another.
Mm-hmm. Can I ask a question?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I I can think of a thousand examples where my feelings have come from thoughts. Um, but is that a two-way street? You know, thoughts also come from feelings because I'm
Yeah.
also
Mm-hmm.
yeah I'm also thinking like you know if I'm feeling bad because of just I didn't sleep well, I haven't been eating well, I haven't been taking care of myself, and then my thoughts are just going to be a mess of blaming people for this or that and things that I wouldn't even be on my radar.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, so is it like, yeah, it can go either way, or
It can go either way, but in order for it to go that way, that feeling would have to be induced from something outside of yourself. And then it would have to not be caught quickly, and then it would generate thoughts. So, like, for example, let's just say you watch a movie, okay? And something happens in the movie that gives you an instant feeling of sadness. Okay?
mm-hmm,
That didn't come from your thought, but that came from what you were giving your eyes over to. So you gave your eyes. I mean, I don't watch movies for these kinds of reasons. I don't watch anything because I'm very careful. Like, what goes into my eyes is like what goes into my digestion. Like, my eyes have to my whole being has to digest anything that comes in through my eyes. So if we watch something like a movie and there's something, boom, it's just right in our face, and it all of a sudden creates a feeling in us that like we can't say came from our thinking, it was from something external. Or we see something on the street happen. It doesn't even have to be a movie. Like, you go out and let's just say you see something terribly tragic happen in front of your eyes, and you instantly feel something. That feeling can only stay. That feeling has to then have a bunch of thoughts that come in to support it staying there.
mm-hmm,
Right. And if it has other thoughts that come in, then that feeling will shift. So, yes, feelings can create thoughts, but not in the same way, or this with the same uh like, in general, humans have more of an issue of their thoughts creating feelings than they do their feelings creating thoughts. Like that's the one to go after. Like that's the one to really clean up, because you'll see a lot of things shift. The like you said, the feelings into thoughts, yes, but it's kind of easier to work with that, and less impactful than the other. The other is the big one. Because think about it, how many people do you know, or even you, or even me, like any of us, like we're in a feeling, like we have a feeling, it's a feeling, it's a feeling, it's a feeling, and it might be a background feeling. It might be like, you know how sometimes days are just gray, right? You can't see a blue sky. It's like covered with all that white fuzz,
Yep.
whatever it is. Okay. And it's like gray, like that background gray feeling. Like you might not
Mhm.
even say, oh, it's a gray day today, but somehow it's just in the background. You know it, you feel it, it's there. That feeling, right, is still, even if it's in the background, it's still coming from thoughts. And the more you can find those thoughts and look at those thoughts and see how it's leading to that feeling, then that gives you the ability to change how you feel. Right? Feelings are change, they're very changeable, but it's, if you try to understand this from the intellectual mind, it could drive you bonkers, right? So like the intellectual mind can't understand this. If I'm just talking to an intellect here, the intellect is going to say, oh, but this, oh, but that, oh, but this, oh, but that. It's going to have a million reasons why you can't just right now change how you're feeling.
No, the whatabouts, yeah.
Right? But
Yeah.
that's because the intellect can't, the intellect does not know feeling. The intellect does not feel. The intellect is not present. The intellect can't be. The intellect is always driving for a destination.
Yeah, it is, isn't it?
It
Yeah.
is. It really is. And when you understand that, you know that it's the intellect that's always chasing fulfillment, but it can never get it, sadly. It can never get it because by nature it drives forward, and there's something better. There's something next, there's something to get to, there's something to fix, there's something to solve. There's the next thing and the next thing and the next thing.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. It's like chasing the ball.
That's it.
Just, yeah. Great sport though.
Yeah, exactly. There's nothing wrong with it, right? It's
Yeah.
fun to
Yeah.
chase a ball, but you
Yeah.
can't expect that chasing a ball is going to give you the same experience as sitting on the ball, right? It's like it's chasing the ball is chasing the ball, sitting on the ball is sitting on the ball,
Hmm.
right? It's the same thing with the intellect. Like it's a great, it serves us. It's fun, the intellect. You can learn things, you can do things, you can move things, you can want something different. You can do all of those things. But you can't expect fulfillment. Like it doesn't know fulfillment, and it never can. And it will keep telling you that you don't have it because it doesn't have it.
It's interesting to think of it as something separate from myself.
Mm.
The thoughts, the intellect. I've I've encountered this idea before. You know, like people are always talking about the ego as something separate, and you know, I think it's a, but it doesn't. These things don't ever feel separate, right? Like the thoughts, the thing we're the thing we're chasing as we're
Hmm.
diagnosing a situation, how to mechanically get the thing in the physical world. It
Hmm.
never feels like something that's separate from me.
That's the trick.
Yeah.
That's the trick. It tricks us, and again, I don't see it as a malicious trick, meaning I'm not saying it like necessary. I mean, it does deceive us. It does. But it is just fulfilling its purpose. It's not doing it. It's not that what it's like saying, a tree is a tree. It can only be a tree, right? The intellect is the intellect. It can only be the intellect. And part of what it does, part of its function is to have us believing it's us. We are it. We are one with it. I like
Hmm.
to just think of the mind as a computer. That's how I see it. I see the mind very much like a computer. And while I'm here right now, I'm using a computer to be on this call with you, right? And to share this. I don't confuse myself with this computer. I feel like there's a clear identity. I'm me, and this computer is this computer. But the one in our mind, we get mixed up. Because it's on the inside, we don't say like, "Oh, this computer is doing this." We say, "I." Oh, this is me. This is me. I've become the computer in my mind. But the truth is, I'm not the computer in my mind. The truth is, my mind is my mind, and I am me somehow. Right. And I mean, again, like it depends on the context that we're using. Like for me, it's very much, it's a God thing. Again, it's like God gave me discernment uh, to keep cultivating. And so the more discerning I get, the more I can see what is me and what isn't me, even the things that are disguised as me. But without that discernment, you can't see anything. You just think, oh, this is who I am. I am my intellect. I am how I'm feeling. I am not fulfilled. I am all of these things.
Hmm. That's true.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
interesting, yeah, that we got here from our sometimes hating communication.
Yeah. 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 That.
It's
Yeah.
fun. Yeah.
Yeah. It immediately turned into a conversation about the thing I most hate to communicate about.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then it got into all this back stuff. And this is what I'm talking about. These are what I call inner travels. Like we've traveled a lot inside to find out what is really going on in here. And it's all been it's an intellectual pursuit. So that's what I'm saying. Like our even being able to have this conversation is intellectual. So we don't hate the intellect. We value it as a tool.
Oh,
It's just
absolutely.
it's just not the thing that's going to get us fulfilled. And it's going to keep telling us we're not fulfilled because it can't be fulfilled itself.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah. So we'll always need a thing to fulfill it. Like, how do I get that thing? How do I get, how do I get my
Mhm.
next cup of coffee? How do I get, this shiny object? How do I?
Mhm. Right. How do I get to California?
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. Right.
How do I get to not be so uncomfortable in communication?
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Okay, do you think that this conversation, it's fine if it's no. If it's no, it's no. I don't mind no, I don't mind yes, whatever it is, it is. Do you think this communication will, or this conversation will cause you to think about your communications with clients and the money and the situation any differently
Oh,
moving forward?
I think it will. I think it will. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. At least for a while, at least.
Yeah. Until the next shiny object appears.
Right. Right.
Right? The next thing. Yeah, I think it's really fun to see where it takes you and how it informs, and maybe you'll even start to notice some of those underlying things that come up when you're faced with the decision to charge more or charge less. Because those things, remember, how you feel is largely based on what you think, or entirely based on what you think. So if a
Mhm.
client calls you and says, "Hey, I want you to do this job," it'd be really fun for you to say in your own mind, I'm going to charge, if I were to charge them this fee versus this fee, how would I feel different? What would the feeling be? And then what thoughts are behind that feeling?
Yeah. I wonder how much. I wonder how much when we hate communicating things is a difficulty of civilization, and not being in a village of 50 people, say. Like, look, we're not hunter gatherers living in a society of extended family, right? Like, so honestly, the first thought that comes to my mind when I'm thinking about, say, charging a multiple of my usual rate, my first thought is, well, it depends on how well I know them. And then I don't want to say that, but and I didn't want to say that, but I feel the need to say that. And then I'm thinking, how much do we hate communicating because we really don't know the people, and so we can give like a filtered version of ourselves, or some because you can meet a person and then never see them again. But I think our wiring is really older than civilization. I don't know if you'll follow me there. Is that?
Oh yeah, like we are biologically wired to feel comfortable doing certain things.
Yeah. That are older than the boundary lines of our our older than political boundaries, older than there's been governments, of course there's always governing bodies, if nothing else, there's the oldest person that'll be the government, or the strongest person, or whatever. There's always some governing body. But
I think what you're saying, though, is that like we have a biological mechanism in place that self-preserves, that wants to keep us safe, and that it doesn't matter what happens in the world or where the world goes or how much society opens up, we still have that biological need that says, like, stay protected, stay safe, do something to preserve.
Yeah. Yeah. And also just take care of your family, take care of your tribe, your village.
The thing you mentioned, you said there was something in there that I wanted to get back to. Let me see if I can remember what you said. Oh, okay. You said something about whether it was somebody you know or you don't know, it feels like you could handle that communication differently. And what came up for me when you said that is everyone is like a mirror for us, meaning they're going to mirror something back. And if let's just say I say, okay, my services for my hour, it's $1 million. What's that person going to mirror back to me? They're going to say, are you kidding me? $1 million? That's ridiculous. And then that mirror is going to hurt me so much. Again, this is like not real. I'm not saying that this is because I might be playing with this, meaning if I'm not understanding what's going on, okay, when they say that, I'm going to go, oh, that hurts. It's going to cause me to recoil. And then that mirror, it feels hard and it feels harsh and it feels like they're telling me I'm not worth $1 million. And then I'm going to go into all those things. And so all of that is what I'm actually fearing. That's the fear. The fear is, what is this mirror going to show me that I'm going to have to deal with that I don't want to deal with? So if I say, oh, okay, you want these services? It's $1. And they go, wow, thank you. You're so nice and you're so generous. I'm going to go, oh, that feels like a good mirror. I can live with that. I'm so nice and I'm so generous. So
Hmm.
sometimes the fear or the resistance to setting a higher price is that we're afraid of what's going to come back that we're going to then have to deal with. But if you're not afraid of feelings because you know that feelings are completely manufactured by your thoughts, then you're more willing to play in the world and allow mirrors to be what mirrors are and then shift your feelings after.
Well said. Yeah.
See how fun? I mean, it's like it's really fun when you think about this stuff.
It is. It is. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like these thought experiments of yours, and the $1 million an hour. Just
Yeah,
get,
it's
get
fun,
to feel
right?
that for a second. Yeah. What would that be like?
What would that be like? Exactly. What would that? Hey, there'd be a lot of trips to California. You'd probably go somewhere straight from California.
Yeah. There'd be at least one. I don't know.
Yeah, at least one. All right. So what's the big question or takeaway? Like where are we leaving you with today's conversation? Like what do you feel like where do you feel like today's conversation drove you?
It drove me to consider possibilities that I hadn't for a long time.
Mm.
Not $1 million an hour, but um,
Mhm.
at the outset of launching this business 5 years ago, um, I did imagine all the great optimistic possibilities.
Mhm.
Um, and then the daily grind, you just kind of I, I shouldn't say you. I mean the collective one tends to focus more narrowly.
Mm.
You know,
Mhm.
I'm making my sandwich to take to work. I need to do,
Right.
you know.
Yeah, and it's really courageous of you that you started a business 5 years ago. I think any business owner is courageous because it is like you said, we have, or like I said, or like we both said, we have that biological need for safety. When you're in business for yourself, you really are standing alone. You don't have the team behind you. You don't have the sounding board. You don't have the board above you dictating how things go. It's like you. That's it.
Hmm. I actually, yes and no, yes and no.
Mhm.
I do find that I have as much of a team around me as I ever had.
Hmm. So they help you make
Um,
decisions in the business.
yeah, I mean, a good client is part of a team.
That's a beautiful way to look at it.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, we're working together. It's a collaboration every time.
So why don't you
If
send them to do your pricing?
Yeah, it's actually not a terrible idea. If most of the time that would work.
Yeah.
You know,
Right? I
and
mean, like, yeah, go ahead.
in fact, the other day, I was talking to a client and getting paid,
Mhm.
um, and I'm just you know like, well, I know it's a lot, and hemming and hawing, and then she just rounds it up.
Oh, that's so nice.
It's like I could have been using that I wasn't using it to manipulate, but
Right.
it's funny that has
Yeah.
that effect. So no,
Mhm.
I think most of the time the clients that I keep, I could just allow them to set the price for me, and
Hmm.
it would probably be more complimentary to me than what I
But
will
that
set for
wouldn't
myself.
it wouldn't teach the only downside is it wouldn't teach you to navigate these communications in a way that is not I don't want to say more comfortable because again, it's like the mind looking for more comfort, but in a way that is effective and it works and it's play. It feels like play instead of something to avoid.
Yeah, that's my practice that I need.
Right.
Yeah.
So I was being kind of playful when I said, put them to work and set the price, meaning not just for them, but for other clients
Hmm.
as well, right? Because then they'd truly be on your team. At the same time, somebody who has a team gets to delegate their weaknesses to other people and they lose. And that's why I'm saying I think it's really courageous to be in business, because most of us who are in business don't get to delegate our weaknesses to others unless you have lots of money and you're making lots of money and you can pay someone
Hmm.
else to do it. Yes, there's a benefit to that, but you also lose the ability to grow in that area. I mean, that's why
Hmm.
I like all aspects of business, because I think even the areas that I'm weakest in, it's an opportunity for them to grow and strengthen. So that's how I view them. Like, why would I want to give away what I'm weak in? I like to learn how to strengthen them, how to play with it,
Yeah,
how to how to
absolutely.
how to overcome the fear and the uncertainty and the wanting to avoid. Like, how do I just walk right into it?
Absolutely. I've just as a little side note, I've been doing open mics lately, not to be not to gain notoriety as a musician or anything, but just because I have terrible stage fright, and I feel like
Mm,
it relates to everything.
that's right. That's so good.
So, maybe I'll get up there and my mouth gets dry and I can't remember any words, and it's like I don't even know how to play this thing, but I'm going to do it anyways
Exactly. Yeah,
because
that's
sometimes,
awesome.
yeah, I think that's the transferable skill.
Yeah,
Is,
it's great. That's like what we're saying. It's you don't get up there because you feel confident. You just get up there
the
and
opposite.
behave
Yeah,
confidently, right?
yeah,
You you
yeah,
don't you don't get things and then you're able to execute life different. No, you execute life different as if you already are those things, as if you already have those things. So I still want to say you're a courageous business owner. I know you said no,
thank you,
you're
thank
not,
you,
but I think you are.
thank you.
And you're welcome. I do think it requires a whole bunch of skills that most people who aren't in business don't really understand what it takes to 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 have all of these aspects that you have to take care of, and some you're strong in, and some you're weak in, and finding a way to do it all. So good job.
No, thank you,
You're
Gina.
welcome. Anything that you want our listener to know that you think would help them in the places where they avoid communication, or in the places where they think it's only them who has trouble communicating?
Do it anyway.
That's it.
if if a thing's worth doing, it's worth doing badly, at least at the
Oh,
start.
that's so good. That's so good. I love that. I love that. That's right. That's amazing. If it's worth doing, it's worth doing badly. Meaning not intentionally, but just
Uh huh.
do it. That's
Yep.
so good. I love that. Okay, that's a great way to close. Anything else, or you feel like that's it?
I think that's it.
Okay. Well, thank you so much, Ross, for this
Thank you,
conversation.
Gina.
It was really awesome. I want to
Thank you.
share with you, our listener, if you are interested in these inner travels that we talked about, I do the journal prompt membership, which is if you started in the beginning, it's okay if you start now, but if you started in the very beginning when I first created it, we're already over 100 days in, which means we've answered 100 journal prompts, one a day that you answer in 3 minutes or less. It helps you get to know yourself. Like, think about all the questions that we talked about today, where the first response is no, but then a little bit more, we go a little bit, we push a little bit more, and you find that there's more stuff behind that. That's what it's called. Say it straight to yourself. It helps you, not because you're lying to yourself, but because there's parts of you that you don't even know until you hear the question, or until someone gives you that little bit of pushback. If you're interested in joining, I'll have the link in the show notes. If you like this episode, or you think it would be helpful to someone you know, please share it with them. Subscribe, like, comment, do anything you can, because these conversations that Ross and I had today, and that I've been having with others for the last 16 weeks, are conversations that could really help someone, could change their life, could help them be more inspired to take a step forward in their life in a way where they're not yet doing. We thank you for being here, and I wish you a wonderful day. Take care.
Thanks, Gina. Have a great day.
Thank you, Ross. You too.